This video is made for adult collectors because bro pulls the same stunt in this movie, disappearing before the final act. The last night sucked.
Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Oh! He was supposed to stop, like, here. I tested this 3 times before shooting this, and he's off the desk now. I'm a professional.
I like the Last Night Barricade's design more than the 2007 one, and the original toy wasn't great. There was the issue that plagues a bunch of copies where the clip holding the roof on would snap. Mine has, and the one at my local shop also snapped that I found the other day. Yeah, mine is actually physically missing. I don't know where it went. He was also this weird coffee stained brown and the concept art design. It was still a fun thing when I had it, but never held up the best. This though feels a lot more solid and sturdy. There's only one clear part that's actually dense on that hinge, and none of it is structural. Barricade though does look a bit funky here, but not gonna lie, I kind of like how dumb most of it looks. This was also bought at Pop Culture Australia. Here's the box, not sponsored. I'm really glad they chose the dark gray unpainted plastic. If it's this color, then it doesn't bug me at all. Also why I'm so excited for Nemesis Prime, because he uses that darker plastic and it's so much nicer. I'm just gonna get the legs out of the way right now. Because of the transformation, they look like this. The feet are strange because it's just the top back of the car, and flipping him onto his side profile, his legs are pretty flat, like there's no calf going on there. It looks a tad strange. He also has a bulky ass torso, but that doesn't really bug me that much. I do like how the back compresses. It's still the top of the car folded up similar to the old one, but because of how they do the feet, less of the car ends up on his back and it looks a lot more flush. And it comes packed separately, so you can just remove it if you don't like it, though removing it is a little bit harder than I thought. I adore the head sculpt. I like the mask on the original, but like here, this has like enough paint on here to look great with the police eyes and the friggin' searchlight on the side of his head. I love all the chest detail that's revealed here. You can leave the black part folded out if you prefer that, but I much prefer the official transformation look with the Decepticon symbol in it. He does come with all of the guns, like all of them. You get his taser looking thing that mounts on his arm and his machine gun that mounts on the other arm. But on his hips are these 2 other guns that he never actually uses in the movie, but they are in the film, so I'm glad they are included here, even if he does hold them like an idiot. He's a pretty decent size. He's not the tallest, but he is pretty wide. The exposed shoulder bits are a tad rough. They just sort of stick out and look really plain, and there's nothing going on. And then the elbows are set back a little farther than I would like them to be, but that's in service of getting them into the car mode because they wouldn't fit otherwise. His articulation is also a little bit strange. Like, it's not bad, far from it, but the way some of the joints are positioned make things just a tad weird to handle and use. He poses weird. And it's not like my phone is in my way. It's not like he doesn't have the articulation you'd want from a deluxe modern day. He actually has quite a bit, and a little bit more in the legs, but it's just where the joints are placed make things a little bit awkward, as well as some of the accessories, which we'll get to. So to start with, the head's on a ball joint. He can look left and right about that far before his head starts bumping into the car, which, I mean, do you really need it to go any further? However, that silver paint on the face does like hit the side wall here of this car, so I wouldn't go too far if you're worried about scratching it. He can look up that far and can't really look down, and there's barely any tilt in there. The shoulders, they're on ball joints. They can do a full 360. Because of the angle of all of this, it goes out weird. It also only goes out about that far, but it goes out at a out and back angle. So the arm is now set a little bit further back than it was when it started. It is just a bit strange. You can get around it. Like, there is that ball joint at the elbow for a bicep swivel to like get the arm where you need to, but it is strange. He does have that elbow, which operates, as I said, as a bicep swivel. There is nothing at the wrist and no punish and enslave knuckle dusters, which is unfortunate. The original has it, but the original's fists have to be enormous to write words on there. And because of how this has to like fit in car mode, I understand why they're not there, but it would have been cool still. This is where the accessories get in the way. So these 2 guns on his hips. You see how the roof hangs down back here a little bit? Use the waist joint. The waist joint can only go that far either way because the handles bump into this part. But if you take them off, then you get your full waist joint and it doesn't get in the way. These guns also get in the way of the hips. So hips can go forward that far, they can go back that far, they can go out further than this, but the guns are bumping into the torso. And then when you've got the waist rotated a little bit, the guns then get in the way of the hip movement because they start bumping into this and start pushing them off. So that's a little unfortunate, but the hips can go forward that far without the guns. They can go back that far, and then they can go out a little bit further. He cannot do a full splits, and just like the arms, they move at a slight weird angle just because of the transformation. He has an above the knee swivel, which when the knee is bent, doesn't go outward, it only goes inward because of the wheel. You do have 90 degrees of bend at the knee. It is like 2 thoops, but you can cheat it. That's fine. Because of transformation, the feet can go forward, which is actually really nice. I like that. He has an ankle tilt as well as a foot rotation. So, you know, pretty posable figure. I just wish that it wasn't as awkward to move around. And I wish these didn't get in the way, because I love leaving these on. I think they look cool. But if you want to get them into any sort of dynamic pose and then like this gets in the way, it becomes a little annoying. So nitpicks aside, I do still really like the robot mode. I also just noticed while writing this that there's piston detail on the belly on the back of the black panel thing for the car. That's neat. I wish the shoulder stocks had a bit more detail on them, and I wish they stuck out less visually, other than like those little tiny things I don't like. I still have fun with this. Transformation is pretty clever because of how it compresses its mass down, though some parts are a tad bit annoying. So this thing is actually kind of involved. Like I was sort of expecting something like this idiot, the old one, but there's quite a lot going on here. Some that's a little bit awkward right here. So to start with, we're going to remove all of his weapons, because they do not. I kind of wish that at least the taser could stay on his arm going into car mode, but it does not. So the first thing we're going to do is work on the legs. So to start with, you're going to rotate the waist 180 degrees, and then you've got a series of hinges you have to follow and an order of operations that if you do it incorrectly, his feet fall off. Little annoying. It took a while for me to figure it out, but you rotate the foot that way, and then you rotate this part up. There's a little bit of a gap, so you're gonna get it up and out of the way here. We're going to then fold at this top hinge and then at this bottom hinge down here. So you get all of that folded, and while doing that, I'm going to rotate this around and just keep compressing it in until it is all the way. Then get this all the way around and snap that into place, and there you have one half of the back of the car. That's the only part of this transformation I don't find very fun, getting this, because if you don't do this in the correct order, it falls off. It's on a ball joint, so it just comes right up like that. There you go. See, it flew right up. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. It just flies right off. Not very hard to get back on, but like that shouldn't happen. Then you want to peg the legs together like that. I haven't heard of anybody else, at least anybody I know who has this figure, talk about the foot popping off, so it might just be a me thing. I don't know, but it does happen. You want to get the arms straightened out here. Now we are going to take the back section, fold it up, and open up the police section here. Bring that out, flip this hinge out here, straighten out the head. Take the roof, bring it up. Now, this part's weird. So I don't know how well you can see, but you see those little tabs sticking out of the sides there? So you want to fold this to straight, and then you want to bring this up, and it will snap into place. But then getting it out is a royal pain in the ass. And you have to sort of like spread this, kind of wiggle it out. I don't know, I struggle. So I'm honestly, after this video, just going to shave those bits. I have the knife right here. I'm going to shave those bits off because they're annoying. But then you bring this section in, fold the, I almost said cockpit, the windshield up. Then you take the arms. You want to make sure they are absolutely straight, because then they won't fit otherwise. Get the roof at like this angle, and then you want to compress the shoulders in as far as they will go, because they do go in further than this. So you get that squished into place, and then get the arms inside the torso, and that's one side done. It is a little bit of like a wiggle you got to do to get them in here, but once that's in place, you take the roof and you bring it down. It's going to peg in back here, and then you're going to snap it into the sides, and then we're going to take this section, pull them up slightly, rotate them, fold them down, pull them up slightly, rotate, fold them down, and there you have his car mode. That's a nice looking car mode. Literally the only thing I don't really like that much about the transformation is this, and then this bit right here, which I can fix, but this is a little bit annoying. I haven't 100% nailed the order of operations here, but you know, once I do, it'll be fine. I love this car mode. The only things visually throwing me off are the hips being exposed here. It kind of breaks up the silhouette a tiny bit, and the front of the car looks a bit strange from a direct side view. Every other angle though, he looks like a badass evil cop car. I love these colors. The white is so crisp, all the lines are clean, and that black stripe going down the front from the bull bar all the way to the windshield, and the windshield that's also a dark clear, so you can't see any of the gubbins inside. I wish they did that more. The side windows are clipped on clear parts too, and they kind of blend well. He becomes a bit smaller and more compact in this mode, but nothing wants to come out of place. It's very solid and tightly packed. They even picked out the front and the back lights and the lights on the bull bar. I love that. Oh, and pinned wheels, which is great. Weapon storage is One thing I really like about the old one was that 2 of the accessories could store on the inside. Here, they just kind of all plug onto the outside, but it's Transformers. I still really like this toy. It's not perfect. There are parts I wish were a lot better, but it's still pretty fun. Now that we have this guy and Mohawk, we need the Last Night Megatron, who is on the docket. I would also then love the rest of the crew, please. Dreadbot never got a toy. Onslaught never got a toy. And I would go feral for a new Nitro Zeus. But as this guy is, I recommend him. He's neat. He's jank though. Like, if you're not a fan of sitting down and really learning how the toy works, you're probably not going to be a fan of this. And then I wouldn't recommend it. But if you're okay with sitting down, taking the time, figuring it out, and then sort of perfecting how this toy works, even though he looks weird and awkward, then I would recommend it. But that's my look at Studio Series The Last Night Barricade. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.